All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian, and this is the Twitter X Space. X Space conversations or X Space chats. I don't know. This is going to be, like, for now, I think a substitute for the Badger Lodge conversations because the X Space lets anybody jump in and I can just kind of like police it from here. I think it just works better. And, it can be a little bit more confrontational if people want to be confrontational, which I welcome. So I'm currently on Allison's account. So people are probably seeing this Twitter space and thinking Allison is in here, but it's not her, it's me. But I am here to take your chats and anyone who wants to jump into the Twitter space. There's a link in the description for the space, or you can just follow us at Honey Badger Bite on Twitter or X. I keep calling it Twitter. I don't know. I don't know if we're calling it X or Twitter anymore. Yeah, just come on in and I'll give you, ask a request to speak, and I'll give you an opportunity to say a few things. You can yell at me or whatever. But I also wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to my American brethren, my brothers and sisters in Christ, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I am currently engaged in the Nativity fast, but in the OCA, we allow Thanksgiving exceptions, so I'll be able to eat meat tomorrow, and, well, actually, I can eat meat starting tonight, because in the OCA, the day begins when the sun goes down. It's weird, but that's how it works. But anyway, so it's Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving, guys, for those of you guys who are here and hanging out. And in the event that there isn't anybody who joins, which I don't know why that would be, but it's starting to look that way, I will say that I do have something to talk about that we can get into as well. So, but first, let me do the things. So if you guys want to send us a message at any point during the show today, please go to feedthebadger.com/just the tip to send us a message. It's the best way to get a message to us. You'll be able to write whatever you want. You won't get censored or restricted. You'll be able to write long paragraphs if you really want to. And yeah, we'll get most of what you put in, because Google takes a significant chunk of the super chats, and the super chats have all kinds of other shenanigans with them. So why bother with the shenanigans? Just avoid the shenanigans and send us a message directly. So yeah, that's feedthebadger.com/just a tip. We are currently doing our monthly fundraiser, if I recall, and we need some help with that. So if you can help us out there, you can go to feedthebadger.com/support. Remember when we used to write Badger Media Blitz? I felt like that just drove people away because it was too much to type. But yeah, it's just support. feedthebadger.com/support, or just go to feedthebadger.com and you can navigate to the support page. Okay. So, what do you guys got going on for Thanksgiving? So I am here in Virginia, and Lindsay and I have no family. So we are going to basically be spending it together with JoJo. And we have turkey and cranberry sauce, I think. She bought the stuff. And mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie. No, sweet potato pie. I like sweet potato pie. I think they both taste about the same, in my opinion. I know that's crazy, but they're very similar. But yeah, sweet potato pie. So it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. And tonight we're going to have chili, which I'm also very excited for, because I haven't really been eating all day. So that's something to get excited about. But yeah, we're not going to be seeing any family. I hope you guys are going to be doing something that involves family or friends or something social. And yeah, well, we will see what happens with that. So there's this article, a couple things that are going on that we could look at. I don't know what you guys are interested in, but first, there is a woman named Afton Bain. It's the weirdest name I've ever heard, who is running for Congress of Tennessee, I want to say. Yeah, Tennessee's 7th special election. And apparently a clip of hers has been going around of her discussing the kinds of things that I guess a politician in a state like Tennessee would be concerned with. Things like the patriarchy. So let me find the. Oh, it's not. It's not here. This is her page. Obviously, nothing damning will be leaked from her page, but I can certainly, I can certainly find it. So let's look for it because I saw it, and not long ago. And yeah, these are the kinds of things that have leaked out. So she's done a lot of crazy stuff, made an ass of herself many times. She's definitely an activist, more than anything. And yeah, here's a clip put up by Libs of TikTok, which is usually pretty good. And we'll give this a listen really quick. Make sure that the sound works. Oops.
I think as an organizer and as an activist, like, we really have an opportunity here in this country to talk about what type of progressive policies we want to see as young women. And I think we have, as birther, as women who can give birth, men and women who can give birth, we could maybe leverage that as collective bargaining, which is the basis of this book that I've just started reading, but called Birth Strike, and how we can really leverage collective bargaining when it comes to having children in this country. And so, for example, like, I'm not going to give birth until the United States government concedes ABCD. What do you think about that?
It seems a little much for me.
I think.
Okay, so she's definitely a progressive. Of course she is. Intersectional feminist. And she's quite radical. She's also like, she kind of hates her own state. There have been clips of her saying that she wants to leave Tennessee, but she's like running for office, so she wants to fundamentally transform it. But here's the thing: she's pretty popular. She might win that seat with women. So it's just what I guess what I'm getting at is the framing is this, okay? Regardless of her policies, we're in a really strange point in history where women can be running for office, or anybody for that matter, men too, and have absolutely insane policy ideas or beliefs that would normally be like, it would kill your political career. Like, to be like, for example, in America, if you were like a Muslim, you couldn't possibly win a seat, especially after 9/11, right? And now, like, we got a guy who's going to be mayor in New York. That's a Muslim. And like, you have like states like, Minneapolis and Michigan, I think, that are basically being like taken over, at least some of the larger districts. So we've gone, and I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of negative sentiment towards, I guess, America as a patriarchal system. So as like inherently masculine, even if you could argue it isn't, but that doesn't matter. It's perceived that way by these people. And so in particular, women are voting in like crazy, like amounts because they want to prove, I think on some level, that they can undo what they perceive as the damage that men have done with the last election, right? The last presidential election. So they're really trying to turn things around. They're ramping up to 11. So this woman has really crazy beliefs. She throws tantrums. Like, there's video of her trying to like, break into a room, I guess. Yeah, she's trying to get into a room here in what I assume is the Capitol. That's her, or these two, I'm not really sure. And they have security come and grab her and yank her out of there. She's not supposed to be there. And they have to do this, and of course they scream and they cry. These are members of government acting like children.
Sir, that was completely unnecessary.
And they're like this would happen to anybody. Like, you wouldn't be able to get away with this. I mean, it goes on for a while, but absolutely like childish behavior. And this woman is winning seats in Tennessee, as you can see. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. So pretty close here. These are polls. Only 2 points behind the latest poll for Tennessee's 7th special election next week. No wonder Republicans are panic gerrymandering red states across the country. This is a Trump plus 22 district. So this woman is killing it. I think it's because she is basically like willing to say the most crazy shit. So, let me see. Is anyone joining? Oh yeah, we got a guy. We got Botch TV. Hey Botch, if you want to say anything, let me know. Send me a message. I also have something else here. I have this. So anyway, that's Afton Bain. I might cover this on a news story. And yeah, so this is a storming Governor Lee's office, being physically removed by officers and screaming uncontrollably. Yeah. Then we have something else. Like Goodfellas says, when women cry, women cry when they are not hurt. They are doing it to manipulate. Yeah. They're doing it to get a man to step in and do something. It's like, why are women online the biggest proponents of political violence, like on social media, that they're the ones saying, we have to do something about this, whoever, the enemy, right? We have to take them out. And they victimize themselves. Hell, yesterday on the news show, I covered a story of a woman who was a Republican that did the same thing. That wasn't even necessary. I think it was just for the attention. She wanted to go famous like Jussie Smollett. It wasn't even a necessary move. And I think it was harmful to the cause of the Republican Party, to be honest, because it's fuel for the left, especially if now that it's obviously a hoax. Nobody wants that. So I think it's just really childish. And then we have this article from the Times. I think the Times is just short for the New York Times. It's called Men Are in Trouble, but Whose Fault Is It? A survey found that the demands being placed on men by women and society has pushed them to a breaking point. And what's interesting is that in the article, I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now, but in the article, there's a claim that younger men are more progressive and that they're rejecting like traditional gender roles, but that they want to protect and provide for their families. That's what they're saying they want to do. So they want to protect and provide for their families, but they're also rejecting their gender roles. Like, dude, that is your gender role if that's the term we have to use. It's just a masculine trait to do that. You're not actually bucking anything. You're just trying to like get permission to do something that you naturally do by saying, or at least like claiming that you are like bucking something, right? It's ridiculous. Anyway. So today's stream is only going to be about an hour. So I hope that some people, have something they want to say, or they want to jump in and talk. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a little slow because it's Thanksgiving. But I did a little bit of digging to get an idea. So I have this summary of the sort of like general sentiment around men's issues, like men's challenges, okay? And this is what I got. This is like getting a temperature on the internet in general. So men face significant challenges in the modern world, including loneliness, emotional struggles, sexual frustration, confusion about identity. Yes, that makes sense because it's like I want to be a man, but being a man is bad, so that should be confusing. And difficulties adapting to shifting social and economic roles, i.e., women are making more money, and essentially men have to make even more than women do. Some argue that men themselves are largely responsible for the problems they face. This perspective suggests that societal expectations of masculinity, such as emotional suppression, the glorification of dominance, and the avoidance of vulnerability, have led men to harm themselves and others. Now, I'm not reading this because I agree with it. This is what, like, the general, like, there's basically, like, two minds on the issues that men face. One is that one, which is the sort of, like, feminism TM position, right? This is the problem with men, is that they're the problem. For instance, men are more likely to die by suicide, partly due to higher access to lethal means like firearms and a cultural reluctance to seek help, even though mental health struggles are widespread. Economic challenges are also attributed to men's choices, such as undervaluing education and underperforming academically, despite women now outpacing men in many educational metrics. Again, this is the claim. This is the sort of, these are the feminist claims, right? Education is shit. We just saw there was like I just saw something where there were people in university that had their reading level was below middle school. So their ability to read was below middle school level, and they were in college. So education is not doing anything. It's not good. It's turning them into activists. It's equipping them with, like, you know, understanding of things like power and privilege or whatever. But it's not actually like equipping them with life skills like mathematics and the ability to read and write. So form coherent sentences, you know, things like that. Happy Thanksgiving to Peter Houston. What's up? All right, so so anyway, critics argue that men's frustration with diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives stems from their not from actual disadvantage, but from losing unearned advantages they previously held. Again, this is the feminist perspective. So men are suffering; it's their fault. They're losing their privilege, and this is why. And of course, none of this is very encouraging. It's intended to emasculate, but it's also to demoralize men, to make them feel like, you know, everything that they're suffering from they deserve. And that's a terrible, I think it's an evil, wicked thing to do. Conversely, though, and this is what's a little bit encouraging, I suppose, is that more people are starting to realize and wake up to the reality that all of that shit I just read is bullshit. Conversely, others emphasize that systemic and societal factors play a major role. The decline of traditional male roles, such as breadwinning or dominant social positions, has left many men feeling obsolete and disconnected, especially as societal values change. The expectations for men to be emotionally stoic and physically strong persists, even as these norms no longer align with modern realities. Furthermore, men's struggles are often dismissed or mocked when they attempt to express vulnerability, which discourages open dialogue and support seeking. The lack of emotional safety in relationships where men may fear being labeled fragile or weak further exacerbates their isolation. There is also a growing recognition that blaming men for all their relationship failures or societal problems is counterproductive and oversimplified. While some men may fail to take accountability, the root of many relationship issues lies in mutual patterns of self-sabotage, lack of emotional introspection, and unequal power dynamics that affect both genders. The idea that men are always to blame for failed relationships overlooks the complexity of human behavior and shared responsibility. Yeah, but we can't blame women, so that's like impossible. Non-starter, right? I mean, we do that here, but we got a request. I will approve it. Okay. Botch, you can talk if you like.
You hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to say to your point that it's kind of like when to your point about the whole blaming men thing, as we've seen that's a conclusion that's often drawn, which is absolute BS, as we come to find. I don't know if you've seen it recently. I can't remember who it was, but it was some like politician, I think. I can't remember what her name was, but she was saying like how men were to blame for like relationship issues, and how if you wanted better marriages, then stop watching porn. Like she was just blaming porn.
Oh, was
The
it
whole
Ally Beth Stuckley? She's not a politician.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She's like an out of touch some out of touch Christian commentator that basically she does what all of these like Christian women do, that they're basically just feminists though, honestly.
Right.
Because
because
they're taking on a leadership position and trying to tell men what they should be doing. And they're not actually helping them. They're just trying to like draw the boundaries, like, oh well, you know, this is how I figure out what's wrong because men aren't leading correctly, so I'm gonna blame them. But she's out of touch.
Right.
Yeah, because I think she's like, I know who you're talking about. She's been married for a while, so she doesn't really know what the reality is. I don't know if she has any sons, but if she
I
does,
hope to
she's
God not if she's got if she's got
yeah.
that attitude.
Well, I mean, if she does, she's gonna find out. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. She's gonna find out. If she has
Yeah.
sons, she's gonna find out the reality. And it's not porn. Porn is not the cause. Porn is a symptom.
It's a symptom.
Yeah.
Symptom
Men
of
wouldn't
it.
be
Yeah.
watching it if they had like even, you know,
Decent sex
even if they
lives
weren't
with their
having
wives.
sex, but like even if they were moving towards something like a committed, you know, relationship or marriage, they wouldn't be
Happy
seeking
one.
stimulation.
Yeah, healthy one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how like they go to porn because you know it's the easiest thing to blame. Is like the video games cause violence
Yes.
argument. It's the same.
Yes.
It's the same thing, and it's just weird, man. Like you know, it's like there's a reason
they don't wanna
why
face-
guys are going.
They don't want
going
to look
to
at
porn.
and talk honestly about the problem. That's all.
No.
That's all it is.
It's a scapegoat. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's all
it just
is.
makes it easy to, like you can just make that address that and move on, and then assume that men. And this is the thing that is most frustrating about what, because Pearl Davis went after these women, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that. You know, she gets a lot of shit, especially from our
Oh, yeah,
audience.
she does.
Well,
She's
not
one of
especially
those-
from our
yeah.
audience, but a lot of, you know, like the you know about the whisper networks, the feminist sewing circle whisper network feminists.
Yeah.
So they're-
I'm
do you know what
familiar
I'm
with
talking
that,
about?
Yeah.
The like online, the like they're sort of like, you know,
Closeted.
secretly networking with each other to like
Yeah.
take down people like, you know, Andrew Wilson and Rollo and
Obviously,
stuff
it's
like
not.
that.
It's obviously it's not working because they're just gaining in popularity.
Yeah, I know, but they're trying to, and I
Trying
think it's
to,
because they're
apparently.
like it's. So anyway, getting back to what I was gonna say. So the reason why I find it so frustrating is because I understand what it is they want to see, but they don't understand how difficult it is to get running. It's like there used to be a mechanism that men had access to that allowed them to be like able to realize their potential. This is outside of women, like, so not even including like women, just like men on their own,
Right.
right? And we have handicapped men for generations. So we have
Oh, absolutely.
like 2 or 3 generations of men who have been absolutely like handicapped because their, you know, mother, like it's sort of like what Jesse Lee Peterson says, you know, like you have like your mother's spirit, and it's because that's how he says it. But what I'm saying is, if you take, like, I think it comes back to the father. You take the father out of the home for a generation, and then the next generation doesn't have a father in the home, and the next generation doesn't have a father, then you have like 3 generations
cycle.
of fathers missing, and then you expect that boy that's a product of single mother homes for 3 generations to just immediately get his shit together and just become the man that you know, to become like the father that he doesn't actually know. He doesn't know his father.
Right.
He doesn't know his grandfather. He doesn't even know his great grandfather. He doesn't know where he comes from. His name doesn't mean anything to him. Like, it used to mean something, your last name. You could say, I am a this, and it meant something. Today, it means nothing, especially for
Right.
men. And women, they're not even taking their man's name. You know, I mean, they're
No.
taking their
They might
father's name
hyphenate
instead.
it,
But
but
Yeah,
know, they're not
But what I'm saying is,
fully
this
taking
is
it. Yeah.
so like you have these men in this situation, these young guys. You can't just say, you know, like, get your shit together, right? Like, it's
No.
a start,
Well,
but
you
it's
have to
not.
give
It's not the
them-
solution, because what they need is an environment to find their footing, I guess. Like, find what it is
The
they
foundation.
are, discover their identity uninterrupted, undistracted, and definitely without women nagging them. And so what
Or
Allie Beth
ridiculing
Stuckley
them,
was doing
yeah.
was just nagging them. She was just nagging
Right,
them from the
exactly.
pulpit. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I like your point there where you mentioned it's almost like a foundation that these men have nothing to stand on. You know,
Yeah.
it's just and when they try to um build that foundation or have this steps to take it, it's being like stripped from underneath them. And it's like one of those things where it's like you can't expect men to win or to have their shit together if you don't give them the opportunity or give them the tools to turn into good men or turn into the men that you would want to have kids with, or you would want to you know build with. You can't have anything without a foundation. it's
Yeah.
it's it's almost like they're expecting the result. Like it's almost like a scientific experiment where it's like that one. It's like a school project where you have that one kid that doesn't want to do anything, and then the other two or three kids end up getting having to do all the work. It's like you're expecting someone to do all the work, but they have no foundation. They have nothing to go off of. So it's like if you got nothing to go off of, how are you going to do the experiment? How are you going to get the best results if you don't have anything to try or go off of? And it's
Yeah,
like
you need
and then not only
what's
that,
step
you're
zero?
basically saying you're shit, and the educational system is saying to men, you're inherently evil, you're bad, you're pieces of shit, whatever you want to call them. And then it's like you're demoralizing them, so they see no reason to get better, because what's the point if you're just going to sit there and talk shit to me the whole entire
Yeah.
time, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of guys get this wrong too, because there's a lot of men who will tell other men, well, you just need to do, X, Y, and Z. But like those guys probably did have their father, and they had a network
Right.
of support, and they had, like all the things they needed to like fundamentally understand. Because this is the thing, like we act like everyone's just
The same.
Well, yeah, like everyone's the same, but more than that, it's like we act like everyone just kind of like comes into the world knowing what they are, having like a good understanding of the self. And a lot of people don't realize that if you do have that, or if you're in the process of doing that, you might feel like you know everything about yourself, but you probably don't. But you at least got like a starting point from your relationship with the men in your life, including your dad, but like not limited to that. And guys that don't have that, they're going to look for it in they're going to look for it in other men, but they may not get it from the right men. They might get it from men their own age who also don't have like a foundation. Like, where do gangs come from in like the inner city? Well, they're all like
It's a
boys
brotherhood,
their own
so.
age, and they're like, maybe there's like one that's like a couple years older than them, but none of them have fathers, and they're like looking at that guy to be like the leader and have an understanding of what it means to be a father, and they're following that person's lead. And so this is like what they're modeling their behavior on. And yet we blame them for doing the best they can, or at least like responding to whatever is whatever they can get their help from, instead of like asking the question, like, how do we
Why
like
are they
intervene
not?
in a healthy way? Because
Yeah.
that's where gangs come from. It's like boys like looking for a sense of belonging and a person to follow and imitate and like build on. And once they've done that, once they've entered that world, it's really hard to get them out of it, which is why like people become repeat offenders, career criminals, whatever. And
Right.
So like a fatherless atmosphere is ripe for that. So
Absolutely. And I could attest to that because I grew up without a dad. So
yeah.
I mean, I had my grandfather who I lived with periodically. But I looked at everything that my mother did and did the opposite.
Mm.
And that's not to throw my mother under the bus, but
Did your father, was he like, did he model, like, whether he meant to or not, but did he model behavior for you to follow? Oh no, you didn't have a father, so you just did the opposite of what. Did you know him
he
at
passed
all?
away when I was young.
Ah,
But from what I do know, he cheated on my mother. He was kind of a womanizer, kind of did whatever he wanted. The time that I do remember being with him, and it was very, very short, because he passed when I was like 4 or 5. So the time that I
Yeah.
remember being with him, it was very infrequent. It often, actually, even my mom would tell me that he would spend maybe about an hour with me, or maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and then because my mom and my dad were separated
yeah.
before he passed, and so I would go from his place to my mom's, which I think she was living with her mom, my grandmother at the time. And so he would basically be like, I'm tired of him. He cries too much. Which, by the way, I didn't. From what my mom had told me, is I was not a fussy baby. I was not someone that was difficult to entertain. So he basically just didn't want anything to do with me. So basically, I didn't have him, but I had my uncle and my grandfather. But it still wasn't the same because I spent most of my childhood being alone. I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to make peanut butter sandwiches when I was like 5 or 6 years old, because my mom would be working late, and that would be my dinner for the night. And that wasn't my mother's fault, but to be fair, her dating life was awful. I would notice her bringing strange men in and out of my life, and I don't know
That's a
how many
problem
men
right there, but
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how.
look, I'm not saying this to throw shade at your mom, but if she was bringing home strange men
She
before
was,
you
so.
were born, or like after you were born, that means she was probably bringing them home before you were born, and you might have been a product of
Yep.
one. And that might be
Yep.
why he didn't want to be involved. And I think that that's on your mom, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I'm, again, I get it. Like, people make mistakes, but it starts by saying, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. And that's, I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. So I don't know the details of your life, and forgive me if I'm like way off the mark.
No.
That's
You're
what
good.
it looks like.
That's pretty
Yeah.
much what it was.
Yeah.
And even growing up as a kid, none of the guys that she was with ever tried to develop a relationship with me. I was invisible to them. Like, she was with this guy for like 12 years, from when I was 10 all the way up until I was 22, and I'm 26 now.
Yeah.
And so he wanted nothing to do with me either. Like, I would be in my room playing my video games, doing my thing. And yeah, I keep to myself. Like, you're the parent. I shouldn't have to make the effort. You should. You know what I mean? Because I'm the kid. Like, I'm not like. And he had a kid from a previous relationship. He wasn't married to this woman, but he had a kid from a previous relationship, and that drove a wedge in between me and him. Because I was an only child, so I had to be the bigger brother, and I was like, I ain't signing up for this. So, but the guy that she's with now, which is her second husband, I thought my mom would never get married again. But she's been married for 2 years now, I think, to the new guy. And because I'm older now, we don't talk to each other. I don't really have much of a relationship with him, but that's because I'm older. I'm 26 and he's like 40, so that's a little bit different than being a kid. And
weird, but weird because you guys are kind of close in age when you think about it. But maybe I don't know. So yeah, I mean, like, what the reason why I said that is because honestly, like, there's countless stories of people, men and women, who were raised by single moms, who have a lot of problems as a result. Maybe they were abused. I'm not saying that you were, but a lot of people are abused by the single mom, or by, the men that single mom brings home, or by a stepfather or something like that. And there's usually like substance abuse and a lot of like sort of like, sinful living, I
There
guess.
was
Like,
domestic violence, I will say, in the time that I was with when my mom was with the other guy. So there was domestic violence in the home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
So
I mean, I'm
that
not surprised by that. But like my
No, I'm
my
not
thing
either.
is, I hear lots of stories of this, and it's all, really like, it's not good stuff. Like, I don't want that
Nope.
for anybody. I think it's terrible. But what I'm really sick of is no one saying, why did the woman choose to sleep with this man? Like, no, and again, I'm not even saying that, because you can like make the same cycle of violence argument or like cycle of abuse argument where, a woman picks like men that are bad for her because her, like, she was raised in an environment like that, and that becomes normal, and like how she sees, the way that
whatever's
she
normal
thinks
is normal to her. So
yeah,
she's
that's what I'm
gonna,
saying. It normalizes in her mind. But like at some point where, this is what Aaron Pitsey was trying to work on, was to like break the cycle of violence by at least confronting the reality that women are a big part of that, like in the men that they choose, and in the way that they behave towards their kids, and in the way that they behave in relationships. Because, when we think of like essentially the mainstream narrative, the sort of, not even, it's mainstream to the point where everyone accepts it as normal, is that if I say this is a domestic violence situation, just the phrase domestic violence makes people think, oh, wife beating, like this is just wife beating. And this is what the feminist movement has pushed out. They literally call it that. They say, well, we just call it wife beating because that's what it is, right? And without acknowledging that women
could be the victim of that.
Women are just as much a part of that. Like it's usually bidirectional violence, and actually women tend to initiate violence way more frequently than men. And we can't even accept that baseline fact that doesn't even necessarily need to balance anything. It just needs to be seen as the truth. Then
It needs to
we
be
see
acknowledged.
women as agents of their own, like they make choices, they decide who they like take home, they decide who they sleep with, they decide whether or not they're going to get pregnant, they decide whether or not they're going to get an abortion.
Isn't that what they wanted anyway, was the agency?
What?
But they didn't want consequences of said agency.
Well, they yeah, sure, they like the idea of making choices, but not that it has negative consequences sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think I remember, for instance, you and Allison, you covered that story about that young man that was assaulted by these women at this fetish book convention.
Yeah, it was TwitchCon.
Like
I don't remember. I know the guy who was assaulted, his name was Saeed, I think.
Yeah,
or maybe
there was
I'm
that
wrong.
guy. There was that guy, and then there was another guy that was that you guys covered. That was
the dark romantasy thing. The guy that was groped by a horde. Yeah.
And it's like, and even the Saeed guy. Like when I heard about it, I'm like, and then I heard what that woman had to say, and she basically said, "Oh, that's embarrassing for him to say that." I'm like, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
And then I know that Asmongold, he covered it, and he was like, if I did that with another guy and the victim was a woman, I'd be in jail. And I'm like, yeah, you would be. You would be. You would be, but is it because a guy's supposed to just like it?
We just don't think women are a threat.
We're just gonna accept that now. Like,
yeah, no,
All right.
No, we just don't take women. We just don't treat them as a threat. We just don't. Like we just don't. We don't like. They can, they can. There's stories of women murdering their, especially their babies. Like they murder babies, not just in abortion. I mean, like. They actually kill their babies.
No, they
like
actually
they'll
kill
have them and throw them in a dumpster or something. Drown them, whatever. They try to kill their babies.
I recently read a story where a woman had lost a custody battle, here in Texas, and this was like recent. This was like maybe beginning of this year, I think, something like that. And she made her son say goodbye to her father through a voicemail. Killed him, and then herself. So
just to deny the,
it's just
crazy.
it's just like, yo, and people don't want to acknowledge this. This is the thing that happens.
Well,
but
that's yeah, that's why we
they don't
cover
want to
it.
acknowledge
That's
that
why we
unless
have a backlog of, women behaving badly. I'll just put
Yeah.
it that way. Just not
Yeah.
not to say that this is what all women are, but just to say this is what women are capable of. That's it. I just like men. I just want to be able to acknowledge that they are capable of it. You know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, every human is
yeah,
you know
it seems like such a non-controversial
well, it
thing
seems
to
like
say,
a common
but
sense sort of thing, but
it
like
is absolutely.
it's a commonsensical sort of thing, but it's like one of those things where it's like, ugh, men are such predators and they're awful and they're terrible and and then you get, I mean, I've seen you and Allison scroll through TikTok. I'm pretty sure if you search the words "where are the good men at," you'd probably find thousands
Yep.
of videos on that stuff. Like, you guys will never find or never, you guys will never not find something dumb to cover because there's always gonna be something. There always is something. It's like the other time you were covering Drama Queen, I think it was, and it was a TikTok video of a man, and I love the joke that you made about the man, like, because he had no shirt on, but he was walking outside and he was talking about how people don't want to communicate anymore, and how he saw this young lady that was on her phone, and she was outside probably watching Netflix on her phone or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember. That's old, but yeah, I remember that.
And the one lady, and then Drama Queen was like, nobody owes you a hello. And then you made some joke about, like, well, at least he's not walking around naked with his thing out, like, oh, I'm just trying to say hello, like,
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, yeah,
May I
it's
meet
like,
you?
it's like, yeah, we're not walking around with our, parts hanging out, just saying,
Yeah.
hey, hello, how you doing? Like, and I told a friend about it, and he goes, was she homeschooled? And I said, I don't know, but like, apparently saying hello to her triggers.
Well, I think
Triggers are
that,
so bad.
yeah, I think that women are, let's just say, they're so safe that they can see any interaction as like a threat to their space. So we've made them too safe from everything. So, like if you remember, do you remember, it's a classic video. Woman walks for 10 hours in New York and she gets catcalled. It was like an old video.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like, she claims that it was just her walking for 10 hours in New York, which is a lot of walking. Like, that's crazy. That's a lot of walking, but I guess we'll just have to believe it.
That's a lot of walking, even for me. I'm handicapped, and I can walk for 10 minutes. I can't walk 10 minutes, let alone 10 hours.
Yeah, so she walked for 10 hours, and but out of the 10-hour video, she got about a 2-minute clip. So 2 minutes a clip, and it's all like the catcalling, right? And there's a little of it, but most of the catcalling is just guys saying hello. So what I'm saying is that
that's not even what catcalling is.
An old video. So that means that, that woman, I don't remember what her name was. I don't even know if we knew her name, but the woman who did the 10-hour video in New York and Drama Queen they both have the same standard for what constitutes harassment on in public, and that is men saying hello. So, and yeah, of course the attitude is, you're not owed a hello. It used to be you're not owed, a relationship, or something like that. Now it's like you're not owed a greeting. And I think that women are only gonna further, like, I don't know, shrink their.
I just said how are you doing? I didn't ask for you to send me nudes.
No, I know. I know.
I know. That sounds so stupid. Because, like, you know how us guys are? Like, let's say I walk past you and I'm like, and I didn't know you. Say, for instance, I didn't even know you. I'd be like, I'd give you that. You know that like head jerk that like men give, like that "what's up" kind of nod, that "how you doing" kind of like nonverbal like communication. We do that all the time. Or like we say, "How you doing, sir? How you doing?" Like, "I'm good. How are you?"
Well, you know,
Like,
I will. To be fair, though, where I live in the South in Virginia. I
I
can
live in
say
Texas,
hello to
so
people,
yeah,
and I don't
I
have,
can do that.
and including women, and I don't have any issues. But
That's
a lot of
Southern
people who live here are
hospitality.
kind of old, so maybe it's because they're older women. But yeah,
Well, also it's Southern hospitality, and I know it's a stereotype, but it's actually a legit thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm 10 minutes. Like, there's like where I live, in Texas. There's like, I swear to God, there's like 5 to 10 minutes. Within 5 to 10 minutes, you'll find 5 churches within each other,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's like, praise Jesus and this and that. And I grew up in a Christian household, but it's like everybody is so neighborly, and so community like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of these people, like, if you don't grow up in that or you don't live in that, you don't get it. So, like, somebody saying hello to you, or somebody like, you know, uh, like I noticed that a lot of people say down here, they say darling or honey. I've always called every woman honey or sweetheart, and none of them have ever said anything. Which I'm always like very careful nowadays, because you never know.
Yeah,
But
I get it a lot from women.
I've never had any
Like they
issues
call
with
me
that.
honey and sweetheart all the time, but I don't think anything of it. I just think it's a Southern thing. That's it.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's
just
I don't think, oh my God, she wants it. Like, no, it's just it's a Southern thing. That's it.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty
And
sure
that's
your wife
okay.
would have an issue with
It's still
that if it-
nice. It's still nice. Like, I
Oh,
mean, my
yeah.
wife gets it too from women. They'll call her, honey or sweetheart too. So
Well, I mean,
sugar.
yeah, I mean, it's just a endearing thing. It's not
Mhm.
meant to be, a sexual
No, of
advance
course
or
not.
anything
Of course
like
not.
that.
I think that's
Like,
a city. That attitude is like a yeah. It's like if if you went to university or you live in a big city or you watch too much TV, you're gonna have that opinion that any man who
Not
says
everybody's hitting
sweetheart
on
actually
you.
is trying to hurt you in some way.
Like, it's like not everybody's trying to hit on you.
Yeah, you're not that important. Hey,
You're not the
Showbiz
main
Sam,
character.
did you want to speak or are you just like lurking? I mean, you're welcome to lurk if you like. The show is going to be going for another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to end it there. So I'll say here's something interesting that while we were talking on the topic of greeting people. So Lisa Brighton, do you guys know who Lisa Brighton is? I had her on the show once a while ago, and she posts a lot on X about like men's issues. She's very cool, and I think she's like pretty conservative. Like I think she writes for EV magazine, and she is always posting like just sentimental, nice things about men. And she said, "Call me crazy, but I believe if more women had gratitude and showed appreciation for men rather than disdain for men, the world would be a much better place." Now, that's her post. Is there anything about that you guys find offensive? Like, do you think anything about that
I saw
is
that
like,
too. I saw your response to it.
oh yeah, I did respond to it. Right. What did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You said it's not crazy at all, I believe. Is
no,
what you
yeah,
said.
it's not a crazy. I don't think it's crazy to say. No, I don't think that's crazy at all. But
No.
someone reposted her, someone named Meg, and of course they had to take a shit all over it somehow. Even though there's nothing like anti-woman in this, anti-man. All it is if women had gratitude and showed appreciation for men rather than disdain for men, the world would be a much better place. And this Meg person says, "Call me crazy, but I believe if more men left women alone instead of harassing and abusing them, the world would be a much better place. It's always about feelings for men and safety for women. That's why you can't compare misandry and misogyny." Where did that come from? Lady?
How could you take that post and spin it and turn it into,
well, why don't they stop raping us?
oh my God.
Are you being raped right now, Meg? Is the rapist in the room with you?
Oh my God.
Like, that is an unhinged response. Unhinged.
I swear, for you and Allison, I don't know how you guys tolerate this. like when I watch you guys cover all this stuff on the maintaining frame, I'm like, and sometimes I see Allison get heated, and it's like, holy crap! I take medication for high blood pressure. I wonder what her blood pressure is when she starts doing this, because it's like, because like my tolerance for BS is like low. So like I don't know how like when you're reading these articles and you're seeing these things, how it's like, man, I've lost my faith in humanity. Like I just don't. How do you
Yeah.
keep sane? How do you keep sane? Because I wouldn't. I'd like because I know this is online, but the fact that there are people that actually believe this enough to post it, enough to
No, they're just they just I don't know. Like, dude, this is a war zone. That's why I don't like Allison's following many of the most hostile, crazy feminist accounts. I'm using her account to host this space, right?
yeah.
And I mean, other than some of the friends, like there's Paul Elam, and I know she probably follows Janice and Tom Golden and some other people, F House Bunny. But like some of the feminists in this feed are absolutely unhinged women. They're just absolutely unhinged. Yeah, there's my reply. It's not at all crazy. It's not. That
Oh,
should be obvious.
no, and like I've had conversations about this with a couple of my friends, and even some of my female friends, and they
Yeah.
even said like if you genuinely feel that way about people, you would never
Yeah.
go outside. You would never do anything because let's face it, if a man wants to hurt somebody, or if anybody, woman or man, wants to do it, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. Like that's just the way it is. Like, you know, like am I gonna stop interacting with women because I had one abusive ex and a bunch of horrible women in my life? And throughout my childhood. No. I'm not gonna stop interacting with them just because of those people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't know how you could take something that is positive, like that young lady had posted, and say something like, "Oh, well, you know, call me crazy, but if men stop doing this," I'm like, "Have you been outside? Like, go outside.
I think everything
Touch
is an opportunity to
grass."
score. I think everything on here is an opportunity for women to score points. That's why I said that this is a war zone, because social media is Call of Duty for women, and they use it to.
I love that analogy.
They do it. No, they use it to destroy other women and men, in terms of their relationships and their reputation and their credibility.
It's their Modern
and
Warfare 2
everything is an
2009
opportunity
lobby.
to tear somebody else down. Yeah, social media is Call of Duty for women. Absolutely.
Except when we went through it, we were just like, "Oh, screw you too. Okay, you want to play later? Sure."
Mm-hmm.
we didn't. We didn't like take it and be like, "This is war." Like, you know, it was just all fun and games, banter. Like, really? Like it's still the same way on Call of Duty. It's still the same thing. Same guy talks trash on a video game, we laugh and whatever. Now it's just it's like God forbid I hate to be a happy woman that loves her husband, because then I'd really get attacked.
You become a target.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, I'd really get attacked. Like, what did your husband do for you?
Mm-hmm.
He's just a decent dude.
I
I
would,
don't know.
you know what though, I wouldn't unless you were prepared for the slings and arrows, I wouldn't ask my woman to go online and stick up for me unless they
No.
chose to do it, because yeah, you would become a target.
Well, absolutely.
But you know, like I have seen, you know, Rachel Wilson, she is like she stands by Andrew Wilson online all the time. She sticks up for
Yep.
him. There was this clip. I wonder if I can find it, but there was this clip. Andrew was on the Whatever podcast. He was debating this feminist who didn't do any preparation, because a lot of times they don't. They just presume that they have the moral position, and so they just go in ready to morally like throw their weight around. and she wasn't prepared, and so she was getting absolutely wrecked. And
Of course
I
not. They
think,
never
and
are.
Andrew said, you don't, he was basically getting to the point where he felt like she was just being obtuse and uncooperative and disagreeable and contrarian just for the sake of it because she didn't have any arguments.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Alan,
when they
and
have no arguments, they go straight for insults.
well, she went after. She didn't attack him personally. She went after his family. She basically said that oh, Rachel, your wife, doesn't she have like children from another man, and is that, and tried to like say that that's not like, it's not, I don't know, like that she's, that's something about that is not Christian or whatever. Doesn't really matter. She was just trying to throw mud, and she was
that
trying to
happens all
hold
the
him
time,
to a standard
though. That's
that she
normal thing.
she does not hold herself to, by saying, oh, you're raising somebody else's kids or whatever, although he also has some of his own kids with Rachel, and he cussed her out for that. Some people are saying, oh, she won, but she didn't really make any arguments, she just made him upset. And I can see that going after someone's personally, like going after the people in their life, especially the people that they like,
Their
are
kids
married
too,
to,
their kids,
live with, and raise, like going after your kids or something. Like, yeah, I think that you're entitled to get a little bit pissed off about that. But not only that, but Rachel called into the show right after
I
that.
remember that. I saw the clip too.
And set her straight on the whole thing and said, like explained her whole story and was like, I shouldn't even have to do this because I'm just doing this for, like for Andrew, for my husband. And I was like, that's a wife right there. That's a keeper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says.
She's
like,
willing to put herself
not
in the
common
line of fire.
Yeah, they're not common, but that's one of them. And I that's just something admirable. So I can see, that's an example of like doing it well, but most people can't do that. I don't think that they have that ability to stand up for each other. So,
yeah, I mean that's really sad. And I've watched episodes of the whatever podcast, and and I think I remember Brian saying something to the effect of, you say that you want this guy that does this, and this guy that's nice to you, this guy that is this, and this guy that is this. Pick that guy then. Pick that guy, but you won't, because you want a guy that excites you. You want that guy to treat you like shit. And then all the women on that side of the panel, they're like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, then why don't you pick the guy that wants to treat you like you should be treated?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is he wrong? He's not wrong at all. Like, he's just saying, you pick a horrible person, and then you complain that he's horrible.
Right.
You can't.
Brian, hold on. I'm sorry. I want to give Alan requested to speak. I'm gonna let him talk because we're almost done here, and I want to give him a chance to say something.
I know Alan. He's a good dude. I met him the other night.
Oh yeah. Hey Alan.
Hi,
welcome.
How you doing, guys? I met Brian the other night. I'm from Scotland, so I'll try to speak slowly. I just heard you talking about Andrew and Rachel Wilson. I'm a big fan of both. So I thought I would jump in. I think I did see that episode you're talking about, and I have noticed that basically nobody really attacks Andrew's arguments. They kind of attack Andrew, and it's kind of a cheap tactic. The idea is to rile Andrew, and they have some sort of victory because they can't beat him through logic. And I did see obviously Rachel coming on and defending her husband as usual, and it's just interesting when you watch those shows, but that nobody really challenges his argument. They just kind of have a go at him personally.
Well, this is how leftists argue, though, because we used to have some they were male, we called them male feminists at the time, but they were basically leftists, the same thing. And we used to have them on our show, and almost always their tactic was they would try to state their position, and then you would counter their position because you've heard it a million times. And he's like, well, here's all the evidence that counters your position. Here's the reality of what we live in, like whatever the argument is, it doesn't really matter. And when they realize they're losing, then they just go after you personally, or they go after your credibility, or they go after the people you associate with, or whatever. But it's always how they operate, because they don't have arguments. So they just, and what they try to do, what their goal is their goal is to get you to react angrily, and then they
Yeah.
claim victory because they say, "Oh, well, you lost your cool." Right? And they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, calm down. Why are you so emotional? Are you triggered, snowflake?" Things like that. And
Yeah.
that's how they win. I put that in quotes, but that's how they win arguments, is they upset you. And it's really just silly and childish. But this is the thing, like, why I have a lot of admiration for um Andrew and Rachel's marriage, is that they stick up for each other, and this makes it very difficult to go after somebody's reputation, because that's what they usually do, is they go after, like, they try to divide you, along, like, oh, so your friend here, or your wife, or your husband, or whatever. And if you reject the premise right off the bat and say, I'm not going for that, then they have nothing. And this is like, if you expand that to the macro level, this is what they do everywhere. Like, this is how they divide
Yeah.
men and women, black and white, like, whatever, right? That's what they do. And it's
Yeah. They do it on they do it on X as well. They do it on here.
yeah,
If you're having a debate with somebody on here, straight away they try to go to the name calling and hope that you say something back. Like, you know how, like, they're always calling you, you're either a racist or a sexist or something,
yeah.
and then you've not said anything racist or anything sexist. So they try to get you to say something, and then they can go at the end, I knew you were that all along. But if you
Yep.
never play along with their game, they don't know
Nope.
what to do, and they just
Nope.
resort to the name calling themselves.
That's right. And that's why I reject those labels, like, immediately. I flat out, and I tell people, if don't let people try to convince, or to call you a racist or a sexist or whatever, if you know that you're not, then that shouldn't affect you. Should not be making excuses or explaining it, like, well, here's why I'm not a racist. Don't do that, because you lost, because that's what they're trying to do. If you tell them, prove it, and then you leave it at that, or just say, you know what, I don't know what that word even means anymore, so I don't really care. Let's get on with
That's
the
what I
argument. Let's
say.
talk about the case.
That's
right?
what I say. I say, hey,
Yeah.
fine. I'm a misogynist. Cool. All right.
Now what? Yeah, exactly.
Now what? Now what?
Yeah.
I think you can beat them though without having to give them any credit whatsoever. But most people, when you win by logic, you don't have to resort to any other tactics. I find that, like, it's funny you said that there. If you look at my pinned tweet, that's basically what it says. That when you're wrong, you should admit you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, but don't
Yeah.
let other people tell you you're wrong. If you're not, you should know yourself. Get to know yourself first. Realize that you're sure in what you're saying, and don't let other people bully you into admitting something when you don't need to.
100%. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the show here. Alan, do you have any final thoughts before I let you go?
No, I was just looking through to see who was on, and I recognised Brian's name, so I just popped in to say hello. I'm going to try and join a few more of these spaces
Yeah,
in the
I'll try
next
to do
few.
them more frequently, but like maybe once every other week, or once a week, or something like that.
Yeah, I'll
So we're gonna try
definitely
and do
pop in
more.
again.
I'll definitely do one around Christmas time.
Yeah, I'll join in if I see you then. Okay.
All right. Hopefully I see you. All
Take
right,
care, my
guys.
friend.
Yeah. See you later, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
I know you guys don't celebrate that up there, but
Yeah,
maybe you
we
should
don't do
start.
that, but happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I don't celebrate that, but I hope you have a great time.
I will. Thank you. All right,
Cheers, mate.
guys. Brian, happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Brian, even though your name's spelled wrong.
No, I beg to differ. I think I'm the one with the correct spelling.
Okay. All right. You tell yourself that.
All right, I'm gonna mute the space, but thanks guys for coming on the show. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today, and please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of the Twitter Spaces. We'll be doing more of these, and maybe they'll get more like hot as time goes on. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it, and even if you don't, have a good Thursday.
Men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.